What follows is not something that I at all recommend, but I did indeed only spend $70 to buy the bike in full, and I have money left over. Let me explain. What is up, YouTube? Welcome to Fred's Full Throttle. This past week, something pretty remarkable happened, which I thought would be fun to share with the channel. As the title suggests, I indeed was able to buy a Ducati in excellent condition for $70. In fact, I actually had money left over from the sale. It doesn't seem real to me yet, but sure enough, the bike is sitting in my heated basement for the winter, and I've got the title in my hands. So let's take a few minutes and I'll walk you through how all this craziness came about. A few months ago, I sold my 2012 Ducati Street Fighter 848. I love the bike, but it wasn't quite comfortable enough for me to ride. It put a bit too much weight on my wrists. You see, back in college, I shattered my wrists snowboarding, and after multiple surgeries and bone grafts from both of my hips, and 9 months in a cast, I was more or less healed. You can still see the scars, and both of my hips have chunks missing. Anyway, the Street Fighter is a slightly too aggressive riding position, and I found that for rides longer than about an hour, my wrists would really hurt, so I sold it. After a little bit of research, I decided to try another Ducati. It's got a lot of power, good styling, is comfy to ride, and is still unhinged fast and powerful. The bike I decided on is a 2014 Ducati Multistrada 1200S. Kind of a mouthful. I found one in absolutely mint condition. All the work had been done by a reputable Ducati dealer. It had been stored in a heated garage, and the guy owning it was a big bike enthusiast. And it has every possible option and accessory checked. The original MSRP of this specific bike was over $30,000. The bike makes 150 horsepower and 100 pound-feet of torque from an 1198 L-Twin. It's the motor of the Superbike from the same year, yet it's got comfy seats, the riding position is neutral and upright, it has heated grips, an electrically adjustable dynamic suspension, as well as a windscreen. In short, it's really, really fast, but also a comfortable place to be. Already I can hear you thinking, how the heck did he get that for $70? Is this just clickbait to get views? Nope. Did I take a loan? No. Did I knock a guy out and steal the bike? Of course not. What follows is not something that I at all recommend, but I did indeed only spend $70 to buy the bike in full, and I have money left over. Let me explain. Way back in 2014, which seems like a lifetime ago, I heard about this thing called cryptocurrency. It was a hot new thing, and I didn't know anything about it. As someone who lives and works in the tech world, this wouldn't do at all. I needed to learn about it, and I needed to at least understand it. I looked at the landscape out there, and it was expensive. A single Bitcoin in 2014 was roughly $400. Hindsight being 2020 though, wouldn't it have been great if I bought a couple of those? Disclaimer. Before I go any further, I want to provide a disclaimer. Do not do what I did. This is not financial advice. I do not recommend buying or holding crypto of any kind. The market is incredibly volatile, and there have been failure after failure of coins, exchanges, and corruption across many of the prominent leaders in the space. The Mt. Gox and more recent FTX implosions highlight how dangerous this space is. There is high likelihood that you can or will lose everything that you put in. Please meet with a financial advisor before you make any decisions to try crypto, and I strongly discourage it. It is not a get-rich-quick scheme that most casual investors think that it is. It is a jagged machine that will crush you. Do not spend anything on crypto that you aren't completely prepared to lose in its entirety. I had to get that out of the way. Back to the story. I needed to find something cheaper than Bitcoin. I wasn't looking to invest or strike it rich. I just wanted to learn how crypto works and understand the process. I figured probably the best way to do that was to actually try it. I stumbled upon something called Dogecoin. Created as a joke to poke fun at other real cryptocurrencies, the creator named it after the internet meme of the dog, called Doge, a bastardization of the pronunciation of dog, I think. And they made the logo a Shiba Inu. Dogecoin was great. It was silly cheap back then. For perspective, a single Dogecoin was somewhere around 10 thousandths of a cent. That means for $1, you could buy about 1,400 of them. However, back in 2014, it wasn't just as easy as going to a site like Coinbase and signing up and buying some Dogecoin. No, you had to find an exchange that sold Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin, then convert your Bitcoin into Doge, short for Dogecoin, and then transfer the Doge to your wallet, which is a piece of software that sits in your computer. Long story short, I took an amount of money that I was okay with losing completely, $70, and I took the plunge. For that $70, I bought a little over 100,000 Dogecoins. The whole process is janky, weird, and requires a bunch of trust, and for periods of time, your money is effectively gone. What I mean by this is in order to convert or send your coins, you need to use a receiving address. It's a huge alphanumeric string of characters that doesn't appear to mean anything. However, it is unique, and it's tied to you. When you send your coins, they disappear from the sending account, and they are out on the internet. However, unlike a bank transfer that we're all used to, crypto works a little differently. I'm vastly oversimplifying, but nodes, or computers, on the network, meaning that they're running the software of the coin of your choice, have to verify and validate the transaction. So I clicked send, and until enough validations have happened, your coins don't show up in that destination wallet. This means after I'd done that conversion and fired my coins off into the void of the internet, for about an hour or so, there was no sign of them arriving on my digital wallet that was running on my computer. But eventually, a little prompt shows up and it does confirm my balance. Great, now what? Well, especially back then, but still somewhat true today, there wasn't really a lot I could do with Dogecoin. I could convert it to other crypto, but keep in mind you pay transfer fees each time you convert, just like a currency exchange with regular money. I could use it to tip people online, and that's about it. Nowadays, there are more ways to use crypto, even Doge, but back then, it was pretty slim pickings. So after a little playing around, I kind of forgot about it. The only sign I even had crypto was this very small little file sitting buried on the hard drive of my computer. Fast forward to 2021, and things changed. This joke coin stopped being such a joke. In early May, I saw the news that Dogecoin was rallying. What the heck? It crossed 1 cent, then a few cents, and then it didn't stop. I scrambled. In the time since 2014, I'd built a new computer. I didn't even know if I still had my Dogecoins or not. Did I even save the files? Phew! After a little searching, I found the file, tucked away, and triple backed up. Whew! Thank you, Past Fred. But there was a problem. My file was encrypted. Turns out that when I was exploring how crypto worked, I had tried out some of the protection mechanisms, including encrypting my Dogecoin file behind strong encryption. Without the passcode, my file was essentially useless. It wasn't some easy-to-remember passphrase either. It was something like a 24-character, completely random alphanumeric slurry of characters. It turns out I'd only saved it in one place, and after several days of looking, I finally found it. On May 8th, 2021, Doge hit its all-time high of 68.2 cents per coin. Sitting on over 100,000 of those, I suddenly had $68,000 after spending only $70. But there was another problem. I didn't have a way to capitalize on it. You see, the exchange that I had exchanged the coins through had gone out of business in the time since. Further, I was unable to find a US-based exchange that seemed trustworthy enough to try floating $68,000 of my money through it. And thus, one of the other big problems with crypto, at least in my mind, is that it's not regulated or overseen in any way by anyone. This means you effectively just have to trust that an exchange will do what they say they will do with your money and hope for the best. Furthermore, for exchanges that are overseas, which many, if not most are, there aren't even any legal repercussions available to you if an exchange, say, takes your coins and waves goodbye. Sucks to be you. So as a result, I missed out on that spike, and I didn't have a way to turn my not-so-funny joke crypto back into cash. Maybe it was funny again. Anyway, over the coming months, as crypto will do, it plummeted. I stopped following it again until earlier this year, 2022. In May, Coinbase, a fairly reputable but still not regulated exchange, started accepting Dogecoin. Doge had dropped between 5 and 8 cents per coin pretty much for the last 6 months, so still worth something, but not anything like what it was a short time ago prior. Not wanting to get caught in a lurch again, I set up an account and I waited. Sure enough, on Friday, October 28th, so about 4 weeks ago, things started to happen. When I woke up at 7 a.m., my phone alerted me that my Doge had grown from about $6,000 the night before to roughly $7,000. I ate breakfast, and now it was at $7,500. The next morning when I woke up, it was at $8,500. At about 9:30, as I left my house to go to the transfer station, it crossed $10,000. I was freaking out a little bit. I got home a little bit after 10, and it had grown another $2,000 while I was out to over $12,000. Over the next day or two, I was watching the price like a hawk, checking it every 10 to 15 minutes. Knowing that there's nothing backing it, and the only value is that whatever internet interest has drummed up, I knew that I had to be ready to act. It was time to move my Dogecoins to Coinbase. I did a test transfer of a few coins over to the exchange, and it went smoothly. So next, I closed my eyes and clicked go, and sent all 100,000 coins over to Coinbase. After what seemed like a lifetime, but really was about an hour, everything showed up over on Coinbase, and I familiarized myself with what the process was. So you can convert crypto directly to US dollars on Coinbase with almost zero delay. It's only a couple seconds versus hours. So I was now ready. The stressful part was not knowing if you should sell, if you should hold on, or what's going to happen the next day. But after several hours of watching it, and it finally started to slide, I decided to call it while I was ahead. On Saturday, October 29th, I sold all of my Doge for roughly $12,500. Coinbase charges about $200 for that size of a transfer, and I took about another $100 and kept it in my account to play with. Dogecoin peaked the following Tuesday at about $14,000 and then started to dip, and currently is trading at around 8 cents per Dogecoin. In the end, my $70 netted a 17,857% return over 8 years. Not bad for an internet meme coin. Then I moved the money into my real bank account, and holy cow, an 8-year journey was over. 8 years from buying the Dogecoin to selling. Now I had the money, and I was ready to buy the bike. The Ducati ended up costing $9,000 even, so I even kept a bit more of the money for when the taxes inevitably become due. Now, summing it all up, I personally would never use crypto as an intentional investment. It's too volatile, too risky for me, and ultimately has values that fluctuate based on actions of individuals tweeting or stories in the news. I was lucky to get anything back, and I think that I'm in the minority on that happening. One last thing is that the license plate on the new bike is going to be Doge, because this bike is going to be the Dogecoin. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and until next time, Fred out!